Welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to look at the Trojan War. Now, the Trojan War isn't just famous. It's because of the wooden horse. There's a lot more to it than that. So in this episode, we're going to explore some of the more interesting facts about it. Let's start with the basics. The Trojan War was fought between the Trojans and the Achaeans, also known as the Greeks. It's believed to have taken place around the 13th or 12th century BC. The war is said to have lasted for 10 years, although recent research suggests it may have been a much shorter affair. The main reason for this is that archaeologists have been able to date the destruction layer of the city of Troy. Most scholars believe the city was destroyed by fire in the late 13th century BC. This would mean the war would have ended around that time as well. But if the war had started at the end of the 13th century, suggested by some researchers, then it could have only lasted for a few months. In either case, the war is said to have ended when the Greeks managed to infiltrate the city of Troy by means of the Trojan Horse. According to Homer, Greeks built a giant wooden horse and left it outside the city walls as an offering to the goddess Athena. Inside the horse were a group of Greek soldiers. When the Trojans saw the horse, they thought it was a gift from the gods and brought it inside their city. This is where the Greek soldiers snuck out and opened the gates for the rest of the Greek army. They went on to plunder the city and take the treasure back to Greece. Now let's look at some of the more interesting facts about the Trojan War. The Trojan War was fought over the possession of Helen, the most beautiful woman in the world. Helen was the wife of Menelaus, king of Sparta. But when Paris, a prince of Troy, came to Sparta as a guest and saw Helen, he decided he wanted her for himself. Paris took Helen back to Troy, and this is what sparked the war. This version of events is told by the Greek poet Homer. However, recent research suggests that the story of Helen may have originated from a much earlier time and place than the Trojan War. Some scholars believe that the story was first recorded by the Egyptian pharaoh Akhenaten and his wife Nefertiti in the 14th century BC. If this is true, then the story of Helen may have inspired the Trojan War rather than the other way around. The Trojan War was one of the most important events in Greek mythology. Many famous heroes and mythical creatures are said to have fought in the war, including Achilles, Ajax, Hector, Odysseus, and the Chimera. Achilles was the greatest warrior on the Greek side, but he was killed near the end of the war. He was dipped in the river Styx as a baby, which made him immortal. However, he was only mortal at his heel. Paris shot Achilles at his heel with an arrow, and this killed him. Achilles' death was a major turning point in the war. After he died, the Greeks lost their greatest warrior and their morale began to fall. Hector was the greatest warrior on the Trojan side. He was a brave and noble fighter who never gave up, even in the face of defeat. In the last book of Homer's Iliad, Hector is killed by Achilles' son Pyrrhus. Hector's death is one of the most tragic moments in the Iliad. There are many versions of the story of the Trojan War. The most famous versions are Homer's, Iliad, and Odyssey. However, there are many other versions from other authors, including Ovid, Virgil, and Lucan. Each author has their own unique take on the story. But they all agree on one thing. The Trojan War was one of the greatest conflicts in history. This is the most important wars in ancient history. Thanks for watching.